Well, good morning to you. It is great to have you with us. I'm Todd Duplantis. You're watching Up to the Minute. Of course, today we're at the end of the week. It's Friday. I believe we're already made it to September the 25th. Brittany Pacheco joining us from her home studio. Can you believe it, Brittany? The 25th of September? We're here.
Yeah, we're here. I said it yesterday, Todd, we're literally a week away from October, which is mind blowing to me. So I am looking forward to this cooler weather that we're supposed to be getting next week. Hopefully the meteorologists are not lying to us. So I'm looking forward to that. But before we get into the show, I do want to remind everyone to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see the latest uploads from us. And last but certainly not least, our audience, we need your help to spread Up to the Minute to a greater audience. We've talked about wanting to double, maybe even triple our audience size. And we need your help to share this podcast so it pops up on your news feeds and more people can see it.
That's right. Yeah, the weather's great, Brittany. As you mentioned, we're hoping the meteorologists don't let us down. A number of them are friends of mine around the city. And I'm sorry, but you know, their forecasts these days are a bit sketchy.
Christy Powers, we're looking at you, even though you're no longer on TV.
We can take her out of that equation because she's in a different profession. Although once a meteorologist, always a meteorologist.
Exactly.
So we've got a great, thanks, Brittany. We're going to be checking in with you later on in the show. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We're talking jazz and poetry, two things that go very well together. First, welcome to the show, Christian Sands, American jazz pianist. He is the artist in residence for the Monterrey Jazz Festival, this year's Jazz Festival, which is online. Good morning to you, Christian.
Morning, how you doing?
We are doing great. You know, it's good to have you on the show. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to talk with you in just a few moments. As I mentioned to you earlier, we've got a treat for the show today, jazz and poetry. Right now, it's Friday, which means our resident poet, Dr. Jimmy Adams, joins us this morning. Dr. Adams, of course, is the Chief Operating Officer. His daytime job is Chief Operating Officer over at the Northwest College. Dr. Adams, good morning.
Morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
Before we get into your poetry, any updates with what's going on at the Northeast College?
Well, we're getting geared up to open up for some student services pieces coming back online on Monday, the 28th. So, and then we're rolling out some of our workforce-based classes, lab classes, on October the 5th. So everybody's in preparation for that, and we're getting geared up to get students back on campus.
I know you're looking forward to that. It's good to have the students, at least in a very limited fashion. The ones completing the lab-based courses will be on campus starting October 5th. But Dr. Adams, getting down to business. Every Friday, you deliver a piece of poetry for us, and today is no exception. You've got a piece that were you inspired by a film? What inspired this piece? And it's called The Rhapsody of a Colored Girl. So tell us about your piece there.
Yeah, and I went to the movies and saw Tyler Perry's For Colored Girls, which I understand later that was inspired by a play by Natuke Singh back in 1974. And that play was titled For Colored Girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. And it really kind of dealt with domestic abuse and different types of abuse. And it kind of touched me because, I grew up back in the 50s, 60s, in that era. And, domestic violence back then it's the same, but it wasn't viewed that way back when I was growing up. And, my mom kind of struggled through a lot of that, and I witnessed a lot of that. So, and then as I did some research on this, one in every 3 women have been abused, in their lifetime. So I began to write a piece about this, and after seeing the movie and what that young lady went through, that's kind of how I came up with this title as well.
Well, this is a very important topic, especially during this pandemic, because if you haven't been watching the news lately, it's all over the news, especially over the past few months, how domestic violence and domestic abuse is on the rise right now, unfortunately, because people are cooped up together. A lot of factors playing into it, but this piece is very pertinent for these times as well.
Yes, and if you look at domestic violence and that epidemic, I mean, and in these times, it's critical to make sure that we keep some awareness around this, and then hopefully, through these words, that can bring some reality and some reflection on this to keep this in the forefront. I know we get lost in this pandemic, but there are a lot of other issues going on that we need to continue to address.
Well, Dr. Adams, why don't you take it away and let us hear the piece?
Okay, so my lead-in, no woman should have to endure the cowardly act of abuse. But there are many women who are trapped in abusive relationships. Domestic violence is an epidemic. 1 in 3 women have been victims of some form of physical violence by an intimate partner within their lifetime. Sad to say, my mother was a victim, so I have witnessed this violence with my own eyes. Women deal with this violence in different ways. They find strength and refuge in their loved ones, friends, and a higher power. So women, regardless of your ethnic background, race, or color, I understand your plight. We must remove the mask of domestic violence and sexual abuse. This is my reflection of a far too common reality facing all women, and it's titled The Rhapsody of a Colored Girl. So, cue music. Dance, my sister, in this modern world. This is the rhapsody of a colored girl. You are so precious, my dear colored pearl, naive and innocent, adrift in this sinister world. Taunted by your beauty, held captive by your smile, lured into desolation by duplicity and guile. Tempted by the shining apple, you're lured to eat the bitter fruit. You're led to believe you stand for something. You're forced to follow suit. You're lost in the shadows, consumed by your plight, a victim of life's reality. You're invisible in plain sight. Tormented and deceived by the games men play, bewildered and betrayed, too often led astray. You surrender your body and obey his pleading voice. You conform to his ways, believing you don't have a choice. You grow used to the abuse, forced to embrace the pain, consumed by your agony, circumscribed by your shame. You give your heart, you give your soul, only to have your spirit broken and your affection put on hold. You ravished your body, leaving you scarred and torn, making you wish that you were never born. But they can take away your pride, push your life to the side, but believe in yourself, colored girl. Your sisters are on your side. So take refuge in her embrace and rest your head upon her chest. The beat of her heart will put your pain to rest, because her shoulders are wet, soaked from pain and sweat, bleeding with tears. But her arms will shelter you and comfort your fears. You are so beautiful behind your painted shell. And know that God will rescue you and deliver you from this hell. So dance, my sister, in this modern world. This is the rhapsody of a colored girl. Thank you.
Dr. Jimmy Adams, you always go far and beyond of expectations, never disappoint. Incredible piece once again, and very pertinent, as I mentioned, to these times we're having right now. Is this a piece like many of your others where you can take a few years from now, maybe revise it, and then have a new thoughts towards it, where I guess kind of like a song where you may create it years ago, but you bring it back in the forefront and work on it again?
Yeah, it just seems like, as I write these things and reflect on things that have happened to me or things I witnessed all the way back when I was in my childhood, and it seems to be relevant and it comes back around, and we're dealing with these things in society today in 2020. Right. So, I alter and, kind of adjust poems to kind of what's happening today to align it with what's going on. So, but with this poem, I think it just kind of just evolved, and it's still relevant, as you see now. So, it's just my style, man. I just, I kind of write from the heart, and I kind of write from, that intrinsic things that God has given me. So.
Well, Dr. Adams, we appreciate you joining us again this morning and every Friday morning with another piece of poetry. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you all so much for letting me share that.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to Christian Sands. Christian, here in Dr. Adams, being an artist yourself, when you're in the music, it seems like he's kind of taken to another place when he's performing. Do you get to those type of places too, where you're caught up in the music and you're just taken away?
All the time. I mean, I feel like that's the best way to play the music. I mean, you're expressing yourself deeply. And so anytime you do that, you always get kind of lost in the moment, and you get to this higher plane that you wouldn't normally get to. So, I mean, it's the same thing with sports. It's the same thing when you're, I kind of call it, you're in that zone, like if I'm a basketball fan, I'm an NBA fan. So it's like, when you hear the players say like, I'm in the zone, or, I'm on fire tonight, because there's a certain thing that happens where you kind of are channeling a little bit beyond you in a way. It could be the past players, it could be the past musicians or the past poets, or just there's something that kind of resonates with you and your work. And the more you do it, the more you say, the more you kind of go into it and get into that zone, the higher that level becomes.
We're talking with Christian Sands. He is the artist in residence. Now, the 63rd Monterrey Jazz Festival starts actually today and ends on Sunday. And unlike the past years, they're not having it in person because of the pandemic. They are holding it online on YouTube. And I know, Christian, you have a performance later today, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us. Maybe you can tell us about the artist in residence and about that, and how did you become part of this?
Well, I'll start here. I mean, the Monterey Jazz Festival is an absolute, one of the best in the world as far as live music, as far as allowing artists to have a platform to say what they want to say and to play what they want to play, and for 63 years, this is a platform that is so beautiful. The grounds are amazing. If you haven't gone, I strongly recommend you going. The musicians there, everybody has played there. Anybody who is anybody in the jazz field or the folk field. It's also, Monterey Jazz Festival has also been written up by the pop magazines or the rock magazines. So it's amazing. It's an amazing place to go. I've been there many times. I performed there many times. And this year I was asked to, well, actually it started last year. I guess you could say last year. I was the musical director for the Monterey Jazz Festival on tour, which was a group of musicians that went all over the United States in representing Monterey Jazz Festival. You had Cecilia McLaurin-Salvant, Jameson Ross, you had trumpeter Bria Skomberg, Melissa Aldana on tenor saxophone, Yasushi Nakamura on bass. This was actually also the first time it was a certain generation of musicians going on the road together. A lot of the times, you know, you'd have a lot of people in their 40s or 50s or 60s or so, but this time everyone was in their 30s or younger. I mean, I at the time, I mean, I just turned 30 when I was the musical director for it. So it was very fun, very exciting. You know, you got to see a lot of different people come to the show and to experience what we do, which is representing all walks of life and all walks of this music we call jazz.
Well, you know, I'm a big jazz fan. I say that because I look back to my experience. My first taste of jazz was Pharoah Sanders. And I had the experience of seeing
him. It's a strong taste.
About 21 years ago, I saw the man perform live. I don't know if it was his last tour or one of his last tours, but it was incredible. It was spiritual. It was one of the things, you know, it's like a bucket list. Getting to the Monterrey Jazz Festival is on a lot of folks, including myself, bucket list. But this is a time where you guys can kind of open it up and take it online. It's a shame we have to do this online, but a lot of people who don't get a chance to experience will get a chance to do so now.
Exactly. You know, and it's such Monterey Jazz Festival is such an amazing place. And unfortunately, we can't be there. But fortunately, now we can reach the masses through social media, through YouTube, Monterey Jazz Festival, montereyjazzfestival.org, you know, through their website. I mean, there's multiple places where you can hear and see the festival in its beautiful entirety. You know, I mean, it's really incredible. Starts tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And it's going to be so much fun. I mean, we have so many different things, and especially this year, we're doing archive performances from past performances.
Oh, wow.
So you get to see Roy Hargrove, you get to see Dave Brubeck, you get to see, I mean, the possibilities are endless. Herbie Hancock, I mean, it's really, really a special time for this weekend. So it's going to be good.
So you'll get some of the new and also some of the classic Jazz Fest performances when you get to watch it all on YouTube when it's streamed. I want to talk about you as an artist because from what I understand, you have a new record that was released just this past summer called Be Water. First, I'm going to ask you this. As an artist with a pandemic going on, what was it like releasing a title? Because I know a lot of major artists are kind of holding off and going, when am I going to release this album? Should I release it now? Should I not? Yeah. Was that a question for you going into this?
Well, it was a little. I mean, it was supposed to originally be released in April, but you know, it just kept being pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And at a certain point, I mean, and it wasn't even on purpose. The record is really represents being in a position where you're not sure what's going to happen, but you just have to be ready. So it kind of resonated with the time. So at a certain point, we were just like, well, I think we should just put it out anyway, because I think this is now the world is telling us that, you know, we have to be flexible and we have to be prepared as much as we can for things that we don't know about. So I think this is the time to release the record anyway. So it kind of just was, you know, the process, even making the record, everything was kind of just by chance. You know, making the record wasn't even on purpose. It was something that, you know, I had to do another record for the Mac Avenue record label, but I didn't know what to make. And sort of the universe was just kind of hinting at water, hinting at things, hinting at flexibility, hinting at, you know, just being prepared and being ready for the future. So, you know, with different acts, whether it was my doctor saying I need to drink more water or, you know, going to Hawaii. I had a show in Maui. And before we left Maui, the band decided to stop at this local, I guess it's a local park. I mean, anything in Hawaii just looks like a postcard. So I don't even know if I call it a local park or not. But, you know, we stuck our feet in the water, and then this giant sea turtle appeared and swam up to us and kind of peeked his head out like, yeah, you need to be making an album about water, and then left, you know. And so it was kind of like that, where it was like these things in my life just kind of just kept happening, and I just kept noticing it. So it started with that, and then the pandemic happened, and we were supposed to release the album anyway, but pushing it back, and it was sort of, you know, well, maybe we should release it now. Maybe it'll be over. Maybe it won't be over. You know, who knows? But at this point now, like, hey, let's give it to the people, see what happens.
So we're talking with Christian Sands. He will be performing at the Monterrey Jazz Festival, which starts today. It's online this year and it goes through Sunday. Christian's got a new album out. We're going to be placing in the post of this show. You'll find links to his website, his record company's website, and where you can go to check out his music. So make sure you tune in or you check out that as well. Christian, I'm going to ask you this, being an artist that tours normally, obviously you haven't been able to do it in probably going on 6 months now. How are you faring through all of this? And more importantly, what I'm hearing from the music industry is that we are on the verge of losing entertainment venues right and left because they can't survive, much less the artists.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different positions to take on this. I'm speaking to multiple venues. I mean, not just because of me being an artist, but also me having relationships with these venues, with these promoters, because, after a while you get to know these guys, you get to know these venues. There's a beautiful club that has been the staple of jazz music in Europe, in Copenhagen, called Jazz House Montmartre, and it's going under at this moment, which is very scary. I mean, we had people like Dexter Gordon and Sonny Stitt. I mean, there's so many jazz greats that when they traveled across, overseas, that's where they went. And they lived there, or they stuck around, or they lived up above the club, or, I mean, for me, that was my first time playing out of the country as my own leader. And I got the chance to play there. And so to hear that it's going under, it really breaks your heart, because this is something that, for me, it is like a second family to me. This is a place like I know that whenever I'm on tour, once I get to Copenhagen, everything is going to be cool, no matter what happens, no matter if we had good shows, bad shows, if we lost our bags, I mean, things happen when you're on tour. But once we get to Copenhagen, that's my home away from home. I have my own bicycle there. I have friends, that have turned into family. I mean, so having these venues, to musicians and to artists, that are kind of struggling right now is tough. It's very, very tough. But, we're trying to figure it out. The venues are trying to figure it out. I just recently played in Philadelphia over the weekend, and they actually just started allowing people to come in and to come and check out the music. So, it was very different, from, we haven't performed with people since February.
Wow.
So getting back into a club and playing was different. And also playing with the musicians again, because, you can only do so much over Zoom or Skype, and being there and then having people sit there, and enjoy the music was a breath of fresh air. But it's still, we still have a long way to go.
We sure do. Christian, I wish you best of luck. If you get down to Houston, I'm gonna find you on Facebook and follow you in social media. If you get down to Houston, definitely gonna come check you out. And I know Dr. Adams would probably want to join on that as well.
Definitely, please. And I know Houston is one of my favorite places. I haven't been that many times, but I know all of the musicians from Houston are ridiculous. So shout out to all the Houston musicians, man.
Christian, great. Best of luck with the Monterrey Jazz Festival. We look forward to seeing you online, and we're going to check out your album, folks. Make sure you check out his new album, Be Water. We'll have a link to it in this post. We are always welcomed on the show, Christian. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Dr. Adams, thank you for joining us on this special show today as well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And Christian, man, I appreciate all your words, and especially, when you're talking about In the Zone, because I remember Wayman Tisdale made an album called
Yes, man. Exactly.
That's where we go as artists, in that zone. And don't forget Joe Sample.
Come on. Come on.
All right.
That's right.
So we're gonna collaborate on something, man.
Yeah, for sure. You said the magic words. You said Wayman Tisdale and Joe Sample, so that's it.
We're gonna have to get you two guys together. I'll work as your manager.
Yeah, so for sure.
There you go.
Thank y'all both for joining us, and best of luck to you, both of you.
All right, y'all take care.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, we're going to move on to our HCC news and announcements. Brittany Pacheco, boy, what a fascinating show today. We've had true artists on the show, a poet and a jazz artist who's at the Monterrey Jazz Festival. Pretty cool stuff, Brittany.
That is really cool. And I was going to say to Christian before he signed off, if you really want to have any influence of water in your life, you need to come down to Houston during hurricane
Oh yeah, you'll get a lot of water. Come here during the summer months. Boy, you never know what you're going to get with water. Hey, so on to some other things. We've got virtual open houses for our students. Different times, same goal. We're here to help you enroll. Did you like that? See what I did there? Says HCC, which is multiple virtual houses open, where you can join them online in October, Brittany.
That's right. And I did see what you did there, Todd. You read the script. Good for you. So HCC virtual open house sessions will cover the admissions application, how to enroll, financial aid, and other ways of how to pay for school, education pathways, and new student orientation and advising, which are probably two of the biggest, if not the biggest questions that we get on a daily from prospective students. So if you're interested in participating in any one of these virtual open houses that are happening in October, head to hccs.edu/information sessions, and you'll see a button there for virtual open house.
HCC's Real Film and Speaker Series, they are going on systematic racism and housing disparities. It's with Luis Guajardo is going to, you like that, Brittany?
Oh, yes. I like that very much.
Friday, I'm on fire. All right. Luis Guajardo joins us 1:30 p.m. Wednesday, September 30th. It's a WebEx conference, and you can get more information through an email address we'll have in the post of the show as well. Outdoor Wi-Fi zones, we have them on our campuses. Yeah, they're free to our students, Brittany.
Not just free to our students, Todd, but also free to prospective students. And students, if you're looking for a quiet place to be able to do your lessons, read, whatever it may be, HCC campus buildings are still closed to you, but the parking lots are equipped with Wi-Fi zones. Now, this is not every single campus that we have. So you'll need to visit our website, hccs.edu/outdoor Wi-Fi, to check out which campuses are offering the outdoor Wi-Fi zones. You will not have access to the buildings because, once again, they are closed. So be sure you bring your devices that are fully charged, bring whatever you need to charge it just in case, but be sure you come prepared. So once again, head over to hccs.edu/outdoor Wi-Fi.
Just because we're living in a virtual world doesn't mean you cannot continue your college goals. Many want to transfer to another university. We normally have on our campuses at least once a semester, if not several times, a college transfer fair where you have colleges from all over the country, all over the state that come to HCC for our students to get them to transfer there, let them know more about it. This year, we have a virtual college transfer fair. It's between now and October the 15th. Several universities and colleges are here for this virtual college fair, from Baylor to UT, University of St. Thomas, U of H, many more. You can get all the information by going to hccs.edu/transfer fair. Real quickly, the MBDA, Brittany, they've got a series happening.
They do. So we talked yesterday with a member from MBDA about their Export Academy. So the online academy for entrepreneurs is allowing existing companies to develop practical hands-on training in exporting. This is happening Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 10:30, all the way from, this week to October 27th. Various subjects will be covered, and MBDA is partnering with U.S. Department of Commerce and District Export Council. So to register, be sure to check out the link that is in the social media post for more information.
Virtual lobby, it's open, students. If you have questions, there, of course, are here to answer those questions. You can get a Zoom, a callback, or an email. Ask your questions by visiting hccs.edu/virtual lobby. They have extended hours. Check the website. They'll let you know, and have a little patience because we're getting a lot of questions. It may take them a little while to get back to you, but they will get back to you. So Brittany, we've got a number of other activities going on, and also some COVID testing sites. We will include the information on those in the links to this social media post. Next week, we've got Vanessa Grover on the show. She's been on a lot of our shows lately.
She is, and she is the program director for outreach and recruitment from the Office of Enrollment Management and Success, and she'll be here to talk about the upcoming virtual open houses in October. So don't miss out on that this upcoming Monday.
And the Fort Bend Habitat for Humanity, they'll be here next week to join us to discuss the virtual fun of Raise the Roof. We'll have more about that. All that and more next week on the show. Of course, Frank Cooper's on vacation. That's why you didn't see him today. Maybe we should give him a call next week live on the air and see what he's up to. We'll try that out, Brittany.
No, I don't think we'll have much success. But everyone, we thank you all for being with us this morning on Up to the Minute. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this weather, and we'll see you Monday morning at 10 a.m. on Facebook Live.